Hi, and welcome to the Wednesday Word. There was once a man who did not believe in God, and he did not hesitate to let others know how he felt about religion and religious holidays, like Christmas. His wife, however, did believe, and she raised their children to have faith in God and Jesus, despite his disparaging comments. One snowy Christmas Eve, his wife was taking their children to a Christmas Eve service in the farm community where they lived. She asked him to come, but he refused. "That story is nonsense," he said. "Why would God lower himself to come to earth as a man? That's ridiculous." So she and the children left, and he stayed home. A while later, the winds grew stronger and the snow turned into a blizzard. As the man looked out the window, he saw only a blinding snowstorm. He sat down to relax before the fire for the evening. And then he heard a loud thump. Something had hit the window. Shortly after, there was another thump. He looked out, but he couldn't see more than a few feet. When the snow let up a little, he ventured outside to see what could have been beating on his window. In the field near his house, he saw a flock of wild geese. Apparently, they had been flying south for the winter when they got caught in a snowstorm and could not continue. They were stranded on his farm with no food or shelter. They just flapped their wings and flew around the field in low circles, blindly and aimlessly. A couple of them had flown into his window, it seemed. Well, the man felt sorry for the geese and he wanted to help them. The barn would be a great place for them to stay, he thought. It's warm and safe, and surely they could spend the night and wait out the storm. So he walked over the barn and opened the doors wide and watched and waited, hoping they would notice the open barn and go inside. But the geese just fluttered around aimlessly, not noticing the barn or realizing what it could mean for them. The man tried to get their attention, but that just seemed to scare them further away. He went into the house and returned with some bread. He broke it up and made a breadcrumb trail leading to the barn. They still did not catch on. Frustrated, he got behind them and tried to shoo them toward the barn. But they only got more scared and scattered in every direction except toward the barn. Nothing he did could get them into the barn where they would be warm and safe. "Why don't they follow me?" he said. "Can't they see this is the only place where they can survive the storm?" He thought for a minute and realized that they would follow him if he was not a human. "If only I were a goose, then I could save them," he said out loud. Then he had an idea. He went into the barn, got one of his own geese, and carried it in his arms as he circled around the flock of wild geese. He then released it. His goose flew through the flock and straight into the barn. And one by one, the other geese followed it to safety. He stood silently for a moment as the words he had spoken a few minutes earlier replayed in his mind. "If only I were a goose, then I could save them." Then he thought about what he had said to his wife earlier. Why would God want to be like us? That's ridiculous. Suddenly it all made sense. This is what God had done. We were like the geese, blind, lost, perishing. God had his Son become like us so that he could show us the way and save us. That was the meaning of Christmas, he realized. As the winds and blinding snow died down, his soul became quiet as he pondered this wonderful thought. Suddenly he understood what Christmas was all about and why Christ had come. Years of doubt and disbelief vanished like the passing storm. He fell to his knees in the snow and prayed his first prayer. Thank you, God, for coming in human form to get me out of the storm. Have a blessed week.